Well, hi, everybody, and welcome to the final show of the season of Bengal Magazine. And on today's show, the boss, Jerry Boyes, joins us. He's going to talk about the seasons that were in 2017, 2018. And then we're going to talk softball. Head coach Jamie Brown comes on board, along with Danielle Szymkowiak, the outstanding senior from Cheektowaga. Nicole Mehlman, the assistant track coach, comes on, and Nicole is bringing along Kayleigh Bystrak, the senior from Alden. We'll have Olivia LeBaron with Bengal Update, and of course the Athlete of the Week. So we've got a big show. Let's take a quick time out, and we'll be back to talk to the boss, Jerry Boyes. Well, welcome back, everybody. We're joined now by the athletics director, Jerry Boyes, also the head football coach. If we have some time, we'll talk a little football, but right now we usually bring you on at the end of the year to kind of get a recap of the seasons that were. And as you look back on the 2017-18 seasons, and some are still going, what do you look back on with fond memories? What are some of the highlights of this season for you?
Pretty successful year, Tom.
Yeah, I think so.
All of our teams, except for two, made it into postseason play, and kind of proud of that fact. And you know, we were led by I think the leaders of the pack was our men's soccer team.
Tremendous
who had a great season, and first time into the NCAA playoffs championship since 1983.
Yeah.
So pretty special there. Other teams made it into the postseason play. So that and you know, both of our men's and women's ice hockey programs did a tremendous job. I love the way our women's basketball
what a
ended
great
up
comeback
the
season. Sure.
Because you know, we say so many times in athletics, it's all about how you finish.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's really important.
Right.
And then our two spring sports. Track and field, we have some individuals, ones that are just doing great things right now. Anxious to see how they end up their season with the championships, and then some may qualify for the national championships. And women's softball is in second place right now, and lacrosse has made playoffs. So
Absolutely.
Anxious to see what kind of next week bears out in the postseason part of the spring season.
Absolutely. And we have softball and track following on this show, so we'll talk a little bit about that. You know, it's interesting. This is the event time where, you know, commencement's coming up, academic offices are having events. We just had a very important event in which we honor, excuse me, our student athletes, because they're athletes, but they're student athletes first. And I know that's important to you. And we honored the academic side of being a student athlete, and 46% of our eligible student athletes had a 3.0 or better GPA. So talk a little bit about that and what that means to you and the department.
It means a great deal to us. You know, that title student athlete is pretty dear to us, but it is student athlete, and they're here for their education and the experience they get in the classroom, and it starts there. And we have, you know, eligibility limits so that they aren't performing in the classroom. They can't do it out
That's
on
right.
the field of play.
Mm-hmm.
So they're here for the real reason and the epitome of that, the definition of student athlete. And every year we boast right around that 50% of those who have been here at least 3 semesters to have that GPA above a 3.0.
Correct.
So that's I give credit to our student athletes buying into that and living up to that responsibility that they have in the classroom.
Absolutely. I would be remiss in not asking you about facilities. It's such an arms race out there, as we all know, and we continue to improve the facilities here. What is next? What are we talking about these days in terms of our facilities?
Well, what's great is that the design phase of what we call the Koller Field Track Project. Our turf is going to be 10 years old this summer, and that will is due to be replaced next summer. Just before that, to tear out our track, put a new track in as well.
There you go.
And that's such a, both are just absolutely necessary for us for a lot of reasons to get done. So I'm very encouraged with that, and it's going along. We've had these great meetings, as you know, with all the people involved with the design phase. So that's due to start on April 1 of 2019.
Right. But we're talking about it right now. And any viewers who played football, ran track, or lacrosse, by the way, the curb is coming out. And you'll know what that means when you hear that. We've got about a minute and a half left. You are the head football coach, and the non-traditional season is continuing. And I saw you on the field today in the drizzle at 6 a.m. Give us a little update. What are you doing these days in terms of the non-traditional as we look forward to August?
Well, kind of typical things. As you know, Division III, we're a little bit different from Division II and I, where they are allowed helmets and shoulder pads. We aren't. So a lot of individual work, a lot of conditioning work, and you're really just concentrating on the basics, the real base of things that have to be strong in order to lead to the pinnacle of success. So that's our concentration during the spring ball, and I see an all-in approach so far. I see very good leadership from our seniors. So I hope that carries on and right into the summer, and then of course the start of preseason in August.
Very good. Well, Jerry, thanks for being on and reflecting back on the 2017-18 season. Enjoy your summer.
Yeah, thanks, Tom. You too.
I'm going to go play some golf with you. We're going to take a quick break, but before we do, I want to remind everybody of the Bengal Club Golf Tournament. It's the 35th annual. It's July 9th at the Briarwood Country Club, and if you're interested in joining us, it's the only major fundraiser we have of the year for athletics. Please punch yourself online at the website there that you see on the screen, or give me a call at 878-6514. I'll be happy to send out the information. That's the Bengal Club Golf Tournament, July 9th at Briarwood Country Club. Let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll talk a little softball. Stay with us.
No matter who you are
or where you're from,
you are welcome here. Tú eres bienvenido.
مرحبا, أهلا وسهلا.
You are welcome here.
You are welcome here.
Well, congratulations are going out to Marissa Hayes, the Athlete of the Week, the sophomore. Pitched in all 4 Bengal victories over the weekend. Marissa threw 24 innings with 11 strikeouts and a 1.46 ERA. Opponents, Plattsburgh and Potsdam, I believe, batted just .237 against her in those 4 games as the Bengals improved to 8-4 in the conference. So congratulations to pitcher Marissa Hayes of softball, this week's Athlete of the Week. And we're joined now by softball. Jamie Brown joins us, the head coach of the Bengals, and Danielle Szymkowiak, the outstanding senior from Cheektowaga. And we're laughing because that's a little inside joke, right, Coach? We can laugh about that.
Yes.
Okay, thanks. It's interesting how this season has gone. I did a little research, and as I watched the team and as I remember the early part of the season, I'll ask both of you this. Talk about the differences in this team from early on to now. It just seems like everything's kicking in right now.
Perfect time.
Yeah. Why, though?
Well, when you have a new coach, it sometimes takes a while to get adjusted. I started in October, but we didn't really start practicing until the end of January. So it was good 8 weeks of practice, but all indoors. So, going into Florida, I told them we need to figure out what our identity is, because you can't do that in a gym, 8 weeks of preseason. So we really just tried to figure it out. The first 7 games didn't do too well, but we sat down and had a few meetings down in Florida, and
there you go.
We talked about energy and effort, and that's all they need to do to be successful. And they started doing that, and they realized what the result would be at the end.
You're nodding your head, Danny, like this. Yeah, that's right. Not to get too in-depth on these meetings, but something changed. So you agree with that things needed to be said and people needed to play their roles, et cetera. Where do you see the difference in this team?
Yeah, I definitely agree with everything she was saying. During the beginning of the season, we weren't trusting the process. That's pretty much what it was going on. And during Florida, it was a reality check with we weren't doing too great, and so we had to step it in gear and gas pedal it, and we figured it out. We started to trust the process.
How difficult was it for you as a senior? She mentioned a new coach. How was the transition in terms of time when you felt, I got it, I get it, I get her, I get the process?
Well, she really helped a lot.
Yeah.
We had individual meetings. Our communication was super high. We were always talking. We got in that relationship that you always want with a coach and a player.
Sure.
So that really helped.
Fantastic. I want to stay with you for a little bit because we're going to brag about you right now. Danielle is batting .355. She has an on-base percentage of .444. I believe she's second in slugging percentage. And yet, I look back and I look at the beginning part of the season for you, and then I see the last 6 or 7 games. In your last 7, and you just heard about this off camera, you're 11 of 19 and batting .578. So the obvious question is, wow, what happened? Was there a change? Was it just a matter of warm weather, getting out? Was there any difference between the beginning and now the second half?
Well, I mean, getting outside is always great. Just the team in general, everyone started to click. The game started to click. We all started doing our jobs, so that motivates me when we're doing good. That's what keeps me going.
So no change in batting stance, bringing the bat down, and you weren't seeing the ball differently. It was just a matter of time and evolution.
Well, yeah, I was always practicing the process, what we were supposed to be doing, and then it finally started to kick. Been practicing the same thing since January, and then now it started to go with the confidence.
That's very rewarding as a coach, I would think. The team seems to be a reflection of her, or she's a reflection of the team. If you look back on the team batting over the last 7 games, you're batting .400 as compared to early on in the year. So from a coaching perspective, were there any changes, or again, was this just a matter of time and things kicking in?
I mean, to be fair, going into Florida, only seeing our pitchers for 8 weeks, I mean, it takes a little bit to get timing. We worked hard on changing swings, and being able to do that in games is what they needed to do, so they needed some time to adjust. You know, with Danny, she's an ultimate team player, so when the team is being successful, she seems to relish in that. You know, from day one, she's trusted me and the process, and always worked really hard, and that's a testament to how well she's doing now.
I sense there's a neat relationship here, and I'm going to make an assumption and tell me I'm wrong, but you have respect and you can count on her to lead this team. Is she a leader on the field for you?
Danny, part of the reason that we made such a climb in Florida was because I named Danny and Julia Blue just captains.
Very good.
They stepped into that role extremely well. You know, I told the 2 of them they need to be perfect all the time. I don't think there's 2 people I'm harder on than the 2 of them. Danny, I'm sure, can agree with that. She takes it. Even if she goes 3 for 3, I can usually find something she needs to improve on, and she takes that in and keeps working.
Very good.
They're a big reason why we are where we are.
Quite a compliment, young lady. We are now in the home stretch. 3 conference doubleheaders left. I believe it's Cortland, Rockport, Oswego. Correct me if I'm wrong. What is the mindset, coach? You next, but what is the mindset now as you look at these 3 games heading into the conference playoffs?
Well, not looking that far ahead yet. Tomorrow we get on a bus to go to Brockport, and that is our number 1 focus. You know, we came off a really good weekend. The weekend before that wasn't what we would like to see. So we just want to make sure we're still climbing and moving forward in the right direction.
Very good.
Definitely not even thinking about Friday. We're just focusing on tomorrow.
Very good. And I want, Danny, if you could speak individually. I know it's a team game, and I know it's all about the team, but you're a senior, and the time is running out, as they say. And do you look at these 3 games differently than you would the last 3 games, your junior year, your sophomore year?
Honestly, no. I don't. It hasn't hit me that I'm a senior yet. I still play pitch by pitch because that's what's important. I'm not looking to what's at the end. I still am very concerned about tomorrow's game and focusing on every single inning right now.
Very good. Well, we wish you the best at Brockport and then the rest of the season. Thanks for being on the show.
Thank you.
We're going to take another quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk a little track and field. Stay with us. This is a college that inspires. Here you'll be engaged, strive for excellence, and prepare for a career. Visit our amazing Elmwood Village campus and apply today. You'll achieve your edge here. This place is Buffalo State College.
Hi everyone and welcome to Bengal Update. I'm Olivia Barron with a recap of news surrounding Buffalo State athletics. At the Sparky Adams Invitational at Baldwin Wallace, Cody Sikora and Robert Leibel each claimed individual titles and led the 4x400 meter relay team as the Bengals placed third out of 8 teams. Sikora won the 400 meter dash and Leibel took the 200. Elijah Law took home the high jump, clearing 1.9 meters, while Benjamin Fairweather and Paris Strickland finished second and third respectively in the 400 meter. On the women's side, Ronnie Quadruple won the 400 and helped the Bengals claim the 4x400 relay. Kelsey Roosh took second in the pole vault. At the Alfred State Invitational, Strickland took first in the 200 meter dash to help the men's team take third. Leibel captured the 400 meter dash in 49.51 seconds. Quadruple took second in the 800 and helped the Bengals capture the 4x400. Nina Schaefer, Morgan Hogue, and Ali Ruggieri combined for 8 goals as the women's lacrosse team lost to Brockport. Elise Stark finished the game with a season-best 18 saves and goal. Stark finished with a career-high 20 saves and a 12-5 loss to Oneonta. Christina Crowell had a pair of goals while Hogue added a goal and an assist. Pitcher Marissa Hayes held Plattsburgh scoreless in 12 of the 14 innings to lead the Bengals to a doubleheader sweep of Plattsburgh. The Bengals converted 20 hits into 12 runs over the 2 games. Hannah Dunlap had 3 hits in the opener, including a double, 2 RBIs, and a run scored. Julia Blugis went 2 for 3 with 3 runs scored, and Abijah Adams was 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs. In the second game, Szymkowiak went 3 for 3 with a home run, a double, and 3 RBIs, and Blugis went 3 for 4 with a double and a run scored. Nicole Adams hit her second career home run. Szymkowiak was named the Conference Softball Player of the Week after batting .636 with a home run, 2 doubles, 6 RBIs, and 3 runs scored. For the season, the senior is hitting .355 and has a 9.74 fielding percentage. For Bengal Update, I'm Olivia LeBaron.
Thanks, Olivia, for that Bengal update. Appreciate that. And we're joined now by Nicole Mehlman, the head coach. Let's make you the head coach for a day. Jerry won't mind. I wish. Did you hear that, Ray? The assistant coach for track and field, and Nicole is bringing along Kayleigh Bystrak, which, by the way, if you auto-correct it on your computer, it goes to beefsteak for some odd reason. We just learned that off camera, so that's a lot of fun. Now, if we can stop laughing, we can move on to something more serious here, and let's talk about track and field a little bit. One of the great programs here at Buffalo State. And Nicole, let's reflect back on the 2 latest meets. Thankfully, we got them in, right?
Yes.
And that's a little inside joke. Baldwin Wallace and Alfred State. Mm-hmm. A couple of thirds by the team, that's great, but it's really all about individuals. And talk about what you and the head coach, what Ray took away from those 2 meets.
Sure. At Baldwin Wallace, the idea was to run against somebody different, kind of get away from the SUNY meets. We've been constantly running against other SUNY and New York State competition. And it was just time to do something different. And the Ohio teams always bring their A game. They like it when we come out there. They know who we are. And especially when it comes to the relays, they enjoy seeing Buffalo State coming out that way.
So the reputation of the program has moved away from regional and is definitely national now,
Absolutely.
where you have that competition. Mm-hmm. Kayleigh, as you run in these meets and understanding the conference meet is coming up and et cetera, and also understanding this is your senior year. Where do you focus on individually in these races?
Just kind of giving it everything I have and focusing on, I mean, my race is potentially a minute so long, so
yeah.
you kind of just go as fast as you can and give it everything, and you know, leave everything you have on the track because there's only a couple races left. So
right. St. John Fisher invite is this weekend, I believe. I'm always curious in terms of track and field of the strategy of this peaking before the conference and hopefully the nationals too.
Right.
So is there a strategy involved in how you and Ray are approaching this particular meet with individuals like Kayleigh?
Sure. The training starts to get really individualized this time of year.
Really?
We do have people that need to peak right now in order to get to the conference meet. They're using St. John Fisher as sort of their last chance to qualify for the SUNY meet. Then we have another group that is training through St. John Fisher, and some of them are even training through the SUNY meet because their aspirations are for nationals. Which are another, 2 to 3 weeks away.
Yeah,
so it's very different. It's very different.
So as I look at this student athlete, where is she in her strategy in terms of peaking?
Kayleigh's all about the SUNY meet.
Okay.
it is her senior year, and we've had some great conversations where, again, it gets very individualized, and we not only do we kind of have an idea, but we always ask the athletes, what are your goals? What do you want out of this year? Especially when they're a senior, and Kayleigh's goal is the SUNY meet.
And what happens in the SUNY for you then? What is your ultimate goal?
I mean, honestly, I haven't competed in SUNYACs in track and field. I did an indoor, I didn't an outdoor yet. I have a track record of getting sick when it hits outdoor season, so it's kind of brought me to a halt early in my seasons in the past few years. So right now, I want to do well. I want to place. I really am looking forward to. In this 4x4, I think we can do well. Our biggest problem with it, we ran it kind of blind in indoor, and we didn't have, we ran in the slower heat, so we ended up beating all the girls in the slower heat, but we missed by like points of a second because we couldn't run with the faster girls. So had we run with them, we could have placed.
You would have risen your level of competition.
So that's kind of, that was kind of our goal.
Interesting.
And when we ran it, we were like, okay, now we can move into, we now are going to be in the faster heat, so let's move from there. Because ahead of us, it's 2 teams, but they're actually tied for first. So
very good.
We're third, but we're right behind them.
It's interesting you're talking about this competition and how we raise our game to the competition. We talked off camera. I'd like you to comment on that. We're talking about Ronnie Quadrupo, who's an outstanding runner for the Bengals, right? A junior. From your high school, Iroquois, and you're kind of the answer to a trivia question, like how did Ronnie get here? And you were the one who, way back when, kind of talked her into running cross country at Iroquois because she was not running cross country?
She played tennis, actually, and she loved tennis, but I played field hockey and she played tennis, and my senior year I quit to run cross country. And we're like, me and my friend were like, Ronnie, you have to quit with us, and you're running cross country too. And she ran and she just excelled at it.
She did.
And Ronnie was a late start too in track, so like she didn't start until maybe her freshman or sophomore year, I think, as in running track.
Right.
And when we finally got her, like, she just kept getting better and better, and we're like, Ronnie, you need to do cross country. It's going to make you better.
Wow.
And she ended up excelling at that, and then. Obviously, it helped
the
her in
rest
her
is
800.
history, as they say. Well, she's all SUNYAC, obviously, in cross country and track, and with hopes of being an All-American. But I'm getting back to that competition. When you see her success in her run and her training, does that motivate you?
Yeah, me and Ronnie it's been kind of like a friendly competition thing where we push each other constantly, and we're always like, even like on, I just was telling you off camera about. During the 4x4, me and her I was the 3rd leg and she was the 4th leg, so we stood on the end waiting for the baton to come around, and I said, Ronnie, how many times have we ran this? And she said, well, how many times do we have left? And I was like, and it kind of it got to me because, I mean, we've done it together for so long, and it's been me and her, so it is. I feel like we just constantly push each other, and when Ronnie races, I'm always on the sidelines chasing her and screaming for her, pushing her, and she does the same for me. So
Wow. That's a
we've
great,
al-
that's,
yeah,
that's a
we've-
true teammate. That's a
yeah,
fabulous
we've always
story.
been there for each other. So
Last question. We did talk about the Nationals. We got about 30 seconds left. The hopes of
Sure.
these teams for the Nationals.
Right now, a lot of focus is on the relays, the
Okay.
4x1 and the 4x4. But there are some individuals that we think could do very well as well. Obviously, Ronnie is one of them, and our throwers. But I think our main goal right now is those relays, and that's on both the men's and women's side.
Very good. Well, we look forward to seeing that. Best of luck this weekend at Brockport and the rest of the way. Well, that's going to wrap it up for this edition of Bengal Magazine. Thanks to everybody here in Creative Media Services. It's been a great year. Have a great summer, everybody. We'll see you in 4 months for the next Bengal Magazine.